Yeah.
Okay, fine. We're now live. Perfect. So we had a few small technical problem, but all is good. I'm here with Rajam, my dearest friend, and it's our second episode today together on sound medicine, and I'm very excited because together we're going to go a little bit deeper in what makes sound medicine. Welcome, Rajam.
Thank you. It's amazing to do this podcast series with you.
Yes, and just to let you know, guys, that I'm here in Paris and Rajam is in Muscat. And I feel like she's really next to me. Feels really good.
Hopefully, the third episode will be together.
Yes, and much more. So, just to give you a little bit teaser of what we're going to talk about together, because it's very important to get into the specificity of sound and why we say that sound is in medicine. And when I say medicine, I say that sound is one of the doorway, the pathway to joy and ecstasy. And let me just explain what joy and ecstasy is. It's that overwhelming feeling of happiness and joy. And I think that this is what sound can create. So today we're going to talk about the aura of the sound, but also how sound is affecting or having an impact on the nervous system. And we're going to talk about the musical instrument like the Tibetan sound bowl, the tuning forks, and how they can reharmonize the energetic structure of a human being. And of course, how sound is the expression of consciousness. I don't know if you want to add something else here, Rajam.
This is, I think, perfect. It's a very good teaser. The first episode, we talked about uh, what exactly are good sounds as compared to like healing sounds, non healing sounds, what makes sound healing, the concept of Nad Yoga, which is sound, yoga of the sound. And Shiznan talked about in the Chinese medicine or in her learnings with Tamado about how everything in any kind of culture or any kind of path you take, it leads to the same destination or same goal, same understanding of how sound can actually lead to so much of healing on a cellular level. So, sound as vibration, as opposed to sound on a physical level where we hear through just our sensory organs, but how it goes further deeper. And in episode 2, we are exploring about the energetics and how it affects our nervous system. You know, all of us are stressed. This with everything that is going around on a grand scale, on a small level, there's so much of stress and we store so much in our bodies and we don't realize this pain is emerging, this autoimmune disease is happening, endocrine system is on a is wrecked, but we don't know why, so we just treat it with medication, we numb it. But through sound we go into the source of uh, going
Healing.
deep to the cellular level of healing. Yeah.
Oh, I cannot agree more with what you're saying. And so, what I discovered that goes in line with what you're saying, and I discovered that through uh, the research of Fabien Mamon. So, I keep on referring to this book, which is to me becoming like kind of a Bible. I discover what makes sound alive because sound is exactly like a molecule of water, of photons of light, or the human being. What makes us alive is not just the physical body, it's the aura. Yeah,
Yeah.
the aura. And I discovered that the sound has an aura. And in that aura flows what we call the life force energy. So sound has a life force energy that we call also prana or that we call chi. And that is amazing. So this is what Fabian calls the harmonics. So the harmonics is, if I have to make it very simple, is the space or the field that exists between each note. So a note doesn't come alone. A note has, of course, undertone, overtone, and you're going to go further into this explanation. But between the notes, we have a field that we call an aura, which is basically the invisible structure of the sound. So, exactly like us, we have an aura, right? We have our physical body, and then we have different bodies that we call emotional, astral, pranic body that
Yeah.
is visible to our eyes. But this structure around us is made of color, isn't
Hmm.
it?
Hmm.
Um, exactly the same with the sound. So the sound carries a structure.
So it's
And
like a field, energy field.
exactly, exactly. And this is what I would like people to really get. It's the main concept that I wanted to bring today is that the aura has a space or field that exists between each note that
Hmm.
makes it intelligent. So there's an intelligence or an essence in the sound that we call the harmonics, which is not just in the sound, but it's what radiates around or vibrates around the sound. And that
Oh.
aura that is in the sound, that is around the sound, sorry, is what our cells recognize. Because you
Hmm.
remember in the first episode, we say each cells has also an aura that is
Yeah.
made of color. And the aura of the cells will change its structure and its color when it receives a sound. And what it receives, what it recognizes, also the aura of the sound. So two it's like two human beings recognizing themselves. So it's like two aura recognizing themselves. And
I
this is
love
the
it.
main
Yeah.
concept of harmonics. So it's the invisible infrastructure architectures that connects, that exists between the sound form. So what I
So
love, yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
before we go into it, I just wanted to set the base that when you talk about aura and vibrations, to know that everything is vibration.
Yes.
Everything has the chi, right? That's what is in Chinese medicine, which is what is in yoga as well. Everything has prana. It does not matter whether it is alive, whether it is an object. Everything has the vibration. So that is what you are explaining. That the sound has the vibration, and that vibration leads to the aura and the magnetic field which comes with it, right? Okay.
However, if you allow me to just say something about the chi or the prana, which comes from what I've read, electronic music, so the music that comes from, for example, computer or phones, does
Mm.
not carry that life force energy. It doesn't carry that harmonics that make it alive. The harmonics only exist in instrument like Tibetan sound bowl, tuning forks, drums, our voice,
Yeah.
or sound of nature. It's what we call the acoustic sound, but electronic sound doesn't have this ability to be a medicine.
Because it becomes digital. It's
Yeah.
no longer natural. It's a digital sound. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Converted. Yeah.
So just to um, really emphasize on that aspect, Rajan, before you carry on, is it's amazing for me to realize that a note, like, or just one sound, when we say la or hum, it's not just one tone and it's overtone. It's the vibrational field that extends beyond the ears. It's what the subtlety of the sound that the ear can perceive, but also it cannot even perceive. That is also unseen and invisible. And this is beautiful. So, yeah, I just want to say that harmonics are the intelligence of the sound. And also, before I end here, harmonics is seems to mirror the structure of the universe itself. And when we say the universe was created from sound, isn't it? I think that even in yoga we say that.
Yeah, everything. It started, it ends with the sound. What is the Big Bang? It's called the Big Bang for a reason. So, yeah, and it's still vibrating. When you go deeper into meditations, when you go deeper into the whole concepts of inner stillness, you can actually hear a sound emerges. That's why they say you don't actually do something, but you quieten your mind and that emerges out. It naturally, because it's all around us.
That's beautiful. So tell me more about yeah, the energetic structure of the body and how it is affected by the sound.
Yeah. So you mentioned, right, that sound is vibration. We established that as well. And in yoga, we go deeper into the five sheets. We go deeper into, like, all the practices is connecting to our deeper self, connecting to our prana, connecting to our chi, through the chakras, through the nadis, and all of these are energetic systems in our body. And through the sound, through the yoga of sound, we actually connect furthermore into the energetic system. So it's a way to anchor ourselves. And
Uh,
when you talk,
may I just cut you a little bit here? Can you explain to me and to the audience what a nadi is? Because we are very familiar with chakras, maybe less about nadis.
okay, so those who are familiar with chakras, we have minor chakras and we have the major seven, which most people are familiar with,
Mm,
which are energy centers from the root going up towards the, towards the pelvic, towards the navel, heart, throat, third eye, and the crown of the head.
mm.
Now, from each of those chakras, you have nadis or channels which take the energy. So, for example, from each chakra, you have 72,000 originating from there to dissipate the energy into different parts of the body. So, each chakra will govern a specific part of the body, specific organs, specific um, endocrine systems, or all of that together. And they are also communicating because these channels go in different places. Then you go deeper into through the nose as well, because the vibration and sound is also there in the breath, which we'll cover maybe in episode 4. But that is what that is what nadis essentially is. So we work on cleansing, purification, detoxification, so we can actually bring the sound, let it penetrate into our inner being. So when you talked about harmonics as well in sound, for example, in sound healing, when you have the Tibetan bowls, and I'm going to talk purely about the Tibetan bowls, when you strike a bowl, you have one sound, but you will notice that there is an overtone and undertone, which you just talked about, which is also there in the tuning forks. The
Yes.
undertones, depending on what frequency it is, will give you a sense of grounding, sense of anchoring, which your mind can connect to. And by mind I mean the the thoughts that originate. But you have the overtones, which are kind of the shimmering tones, which are kind of ethereal, which can ex- create the sense of expansiveness. So there is a lot of science that goes into it. Science doesn't have to be the Western science medicine, but many of these Tibetan bowls, most of them, if it's made traditionally, goes in line with the lunar calendar, and they align it with the full moon. They tune it to the full moon. So there's a lot of energy involved in that as well. But the overtones and undertones, what it does is it goes deeper and kind of quietens your mind, in that sense that it also gives you grounding, it also gives you that sense of expansiveness. And now science is kind of understanding what we already knew in the past. So now we have binaural beats, you have the solfeggio frequencies. People are talking about certain ranges of frequencies, which either aid in healing or certain aid in bone development, bone density. Some are specific for anxiety, some are specific for grounding. And all of them, when you see, they work in tandem, because after sound healing sessions, you'll notice people are crying, they don't know why. There's just sudden rush of emotions. And it
Yes.
doesn't have to be again the same time, like you don't finish and then you feel that. You maybe feel it the next day, because it's vibration, it has already gone and it's doing its magic in the body. So they have all of these different kinds of emotions, memories come up. Maybe they feel joyful and light. So all the stored emotions which kind of accumulate in our body, which we don't realize, you can kind of, not kind of, you can go in there and access through the magic of sound, and it's that powerful.
I love what you're saying. And it's so it reminds me of two things. The first thing is that because I'm very interested about light, it reminds me of the spectrums of light. So light does not come just as one color like white or yellow. It has a spectrums, a range of color. So it seems like, first of all, sound is like light. It has the main color, which is the main notes, and then it has the subtle shades, the richness and the depth of the sound, like exactly like the primary fundamental color and the series of colors.
Hmm. Like a spectrum. Yeah, I love it. That's
It's the
perfect.
spectrums of sound. But
Yeah.
it's very interesting how this is exactly what the tuning forks is. And I think it works the same way because the tuning forks, and I'll go a little bit uh, deeper into how tuning forks work. So this is what a tuning fork is. Um, but basically, when you apply this Tibetan sound bowl or the tuning fork near the person, it dissolves the stagnant energy maybe that are stored in what we call the meridians or the chakras. So those stagnant energies are also associated to a stagnant emotion.
Hmm.
So when you apply the vibration of the sound, it basically it doesn't break, but it removes the crystallization of the stagnant emotion, and the emotion just flows again.
Hmm.
I think this is how it works, right? This is why we get people very emotional, uh, crying, or like memories come out, right?
Hmm. So, how do you use the tuning forks? Like, I'd love for our viewers to see how the tuning fork works. Where do you place them?
Okay, so the tuning forks that I'm using are made by Fabien Mamon, right? It's very important for me to say that because what he has discovered after years of research is that he was a musician, yeah. He discovered that each meridians. So if I have to explain what a meridian is, it's like a river. It's basically like the nadis, but it's like rivers of energy flowing uh, throughout the body. And in those meridian, we have acupressure points. So let me know if you want me to explain it even better. I'll try to just speak with my own vocabulary.
It's
Uh,
perfect. Keep it slow.
okay, so it's like the yeah, it's like the river that flows. Okay, so we have 12 meridians, and he discovered through using the pulse diagnosis that 12 meridians are associated to the 12 musical notes. So just to give you an idea, it's here in my book. So for example, if you take the meridian of, let's say, the liver, so we have the physical organ, but we have also the energetic organ. So the liver is associated to fa diez. Fa diez. So people who play instrument will know what it is. For example, your lung is associated to lol, to sol, and it's also associated to a note. It's associated to a color, and it is associated to a an element. And
So
he
the
also
notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, or do
exactly
you re, mi if you're following that musical? Okay.
exactly. So I cannot show it to people properly, but here basically he also discovered that a chakra is associated to a specific point in the meridians. It's associated to a color, to a musical notes, and to a function in the body, and to the one of the energetic body as well. All right.
Hmm.
So this is how he created those tuning forks. So I have 12 in front of me. So this tuning forks, it's do. This
Okay.
one is do
So this
diez.
is
So it will create a different vibration in the body. So you apply it to a specific acupressure points.
okay.
And when you use it to a specific acupressure point, you also end with a color. So let me show you the color. So for example, this is magenta. This
Mm.
is blue. So when you apply the tuning forks, it will vibrate on
Hmm.
the meridian, on the acupressure points, and you just apply the color to, let's say, uh, fix the information, the
Hmm. Okay.
to stabilize the effect of the sound. So we
Okay.
use tuning forks that is associated to a musical note, and then we end with the color. And
Amazing.
on so either acupressure points or chakra points.
Okay.
This is just absolutely amazing. So just the tuning forks, so how does it work properly? So the vibration is received by the skin receptors. So on your skin you have receptors. So the vibration will be received by those receptors, transmitted to the brain cortex, and then distributed through the body, the meridians. So
Hmm.
healing occurs when the chi moves in the same direction as the consciousness. So it's like it creates like basically a coherence in the body.
Hmm.
Like you're sending the right information for the chi to flow, and not only the vibration but also the color vibration. And I think it's
Hmm.
the same in yoga, right? So each chakra is associated to a color and it is associated to sound, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right. So the
Same
concept of resonance, right? This is based on the concept of resonance. While something is vibrating, so you have a specific vibration, and if you place that next to something which is not even touching, that object will start vibrating at the same frequency. So this is what tuning forks does. You apply that frequency, you apply that light, you apply that the tuning fork and that place. If there is disharmony, and that happens with day to day stresses and thoughts and all of that, you create that harmony within the body. And that is the concept for today's practice. You create harmony. If there is harmony, there's so much joy. Every moment is joy. And so from that resonance, it also goes to the concept of brain entrainment, right? You're actually firing specific neurons, you're creating neural pathways, you're changing from the beta state to alpha, theta, delta. So you don't really need all of these different modalities. Sound can just be it. And just for our viewers to know, in the coming couple of months, we will be having an event which is sound healing with
Yes.
the tuning forks, and we're going to do it together in Muscat when Shiznan is here. The dates will be announced soon, but we're really excited. And this is the whole concept of bringing inner healing and taking that in your daily practice.
Yes, and I would like to share the experience, the conference that I was attending yesterday, and I told you about that, and maybe you can explain it even from a scientific or from your background as a scientist as well. So yesterday I was attending this conference about the Qigong of the sixth sound. So Qigong is the, let's say, energetic movement that is created by the Chinese. So it's part of Chinese medicine. So each energetic organ has its form, let's say its form, and you breathe through the form. And then you can also apply a sound. So, for example, if you work with the spleen or if you work with the liver, you create a specific form. You breathe in the or you breathe, and then you apply a sound that is associated to that organ, and the
Mm.
sound will create that you chant loud that you and comes from the dantian and not from the from your how do you say vocal cord. It
So
comes.
Dante is the solar plexus, or
Yes, it's in the lower belly.
okay,
So it's above the root chakra. So I think
okay,
it's the plexus.
pelvic, okay.
So the sound comes from the dantian, and the qigong master was saying that when you sing and when you bring this sound loud, it will create the harmony of the organ. I'm still not able to understand truly how this works, but after doing it for 1.5 hours, I was feeling very high.
I think we need to keep the logic mind aside. It is just about the experience. as what I said, right? Like these things we've already been known. It's been known. It's there in the ancient texts. Science is now trying to understand it. Science is trying now putting scientific terms to it. And I practice yoga. I identify as a yoga student, but my background, I'm a master's in biotechnology. So my mind still works in the logic aspect of it. So when you said doesn't really make sense, but I can feel it, just let it not make sense. And that's what I talk even in before I start any of my sessions, or in before a sound bath. It doesn't logically have to make sense. You just have to surrender, and you have to experience, and let whatever has to happen just happen. So your experience itself was the indicator of how magical it was. So magical and powerful and joyful, which
Yes,
is what you feel even in sounds which you don't acknowledge. Like imagine when a cat comes and sits on you. First of all, it's amazing that that little furry being is trusting you and sits on you, and then that cat is so joyful, so starts vibrating, and that vibration is the purr. And that, it's scientifically proven that that sound of the cat's purr is very healing, is very therapeutic. And best of all, that they know that when you need their therapy, and they will come to you when you need it the most, just to
absolutely.
spread joy. So sound is joy.
Yes, and I would like to really also add something to what you're saying. So not all the sounds are beneficial. I think you will agree with me. There
Yeah.
are sounds that can also disturb or damage our energetic field. So, for example, when you're too exposed to artificial frequencies, I must say, Wi-Fi, some electronic device, some music as well, we can say it. It damaged the your aura, right? It damaged the aura of your cells, and some other instruments, some other sound like mantras, sound from musical instrument will expand our aura. And I think we have to really be mindful of what kind of sound we're exposed to.
100%. Yeah. How do we be, what would you say that to be mindful of what kind of sounds we entertain in our being? Because sometimes, there's like a, you drop something, or there is a sudden loud sound, it automatically activates your sympathetic nervous system. You're just suddenly in fight or flight. So how
Yes.
do you kind of stay immersed, or as much as possible be aware of having a place where our aura is expanded and you're feeling at ease?
I think that if your cells, if each of your cell expand when it receive the right notes, you will feel either that you're expanding, like you have those okay, I'll give you another explanation. When when you're exposed to the right sound, or for example, when you're moving, when you're dancing, you are getting into real joy, ecstasy feeling, that feeling that you're in the present. All your thoughts are joyful. The way you look at others is joyful. The way you feel, what emanates from you is pure joy. You don't have negative thought. You're in the presence. And I think this is the main sign that you're in touch with the right sound or the sound that expands.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have another
No,
explanation.
that's amazing. They kind of remind me of when we were talking the other day, and you talked about the right kind of sounds which will actually make you remember your essence, who you are, and your true self, which goes beyond the physicality of it.
I'm very interested, Rajam, and I think we'll explore that in the next podcast. Why all the most of the spiritual masters, even the Sufi, were
Mm,
all using music, instruments
it's true.
as the pathway to connect to the divine. It's not random that music can refine your spiritual perception. It has subtle, it can make you access to higher dimension of reality. You know, it like it unlocks hidden doors that we are not completely aware of. So, if music or sound has this ability to connect you with higher real, it also has the ability to connect you with lower dimension as well.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I'm still not completely understanding it, but in there is a mystery. In there, there's a reason why every
Mm.
spiritual masters is using sound. Why the Chinese medicine has 2,000 years or 4,000 years of existence and is using sound. Why Nada yoga is, why yoga uses also sound to create the harmony within and to connect us with, let's say, the higher dimension of reality.
Yeah. So for my logic friends, for example, when we talk about different instruments, so gong kind of, the hard sounds, there are different kinds of gongs as well. But the grounding sounds, they kind of break your mental patterns because, you come with all of these different kind of thoughts. You can't directly be expected, okay, I lie down and now all my thoughts have vanished. No, it's a whole process.
Mm,
So gong kind of breaks that mental pattern. You have these binaural beats which again do the same thing. You anchor through that. You anchor your mind through that. Then you apply different other kind of sounds which are grounding. So you start from the lowermost to grounding sounds, grounding frequencies, and then you go to higher sounds, which is how it kind of superimposes to how our body energy centers is as well. You go from the lowermost energy center higher up. The higher you go, the less physical it is. So it becomes more and more connecting to the subtle body. And the crown is actually not even on the head, it's a couple of inches above the head, which connects you directly to the source, connecting to, so from the physical to the subtle. And that's the whole system of the sound healing process as well. Obviously there is lots more, there are lots of different kind of instruments that are being used as well to break that mental pattern, which is why so many psychiatrists, psychologists. I'm actually reading a book written by an oncologist who uses sound healing in his therapies. How you can actually get into your nervous system, regulate your nervous system to aid in the medication to do its work on the body, getting lesser side effects. Isn't that amazing? Sound can do that.
absolutely. I am very convinced about that today. I wasn't before, but today, whatever you're saying right now, I know it's true. I know it's true from, and you and me know it's true not only from the book that we're reading, we're not just understanding it with the mind, we are experiencing it. Like I have my tuning forks, I have my drum, I do my dhikr. I do it now today with much more awareness, but you have your drums, you're doing your pranayama with your sound, and it's been a couple of years. So we are feeling it within. And I think it's this is the invitation. This podcast or the invitation for people to experience sound, not just to understand it from the brain, not just to do like a few sessions here and there, but just to integrate sound as part of their inner medicine.
Yeah. And that's what leads to episode 3 as well, right? Because you don't need any kind of instruments. If your voice is your instrument, you're taking that with you wherever you go. And we're going to explore. So Shaznan is going to talk about her dhikr, the dhikr chanting. I'm going to talk about the mantras that we have in the Sanatan Dharma, or what is known as Hinduism, the regular chanting, using your voice. And there are certain sound forms which have no meaning as well. So implementing that, and how just when you experience it, again, here we don't keep the logic mind, we keep the logic mind aside. It's just about experiencing it, irrespective of whatever background you're in, understanding that your voice can be an instrument for healing. And that is episode 3.
And I absolutely love the fact that we're combining different philosophies, you and me, and we realize that these philosophies have the same um, let's say the end goal or the methodology can be different, but the end is the main message, or what they have truly understood is exactly the same, whether it's Islam or Hinduism. I must say that the core message is the same. Musicality of mantras that carries a vibration is what connects you with higher real. And the Chinese medicine and the yogic philosophy are very similar. And it's
Absolutely.
beautiful. We're just integrating this to this different philosophies as one.
Yeah. And if you're vibrating at a high frequency, and as you said, when your aura is expanding, you feel immense joy. The entire podcast is about living in joy, living in freedom, living in a place knowing that you can go deeper into your being, and that's knowing your essence. And as Shaznan very beautifully said yesterday about your remembrance, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that, yeah, in some of the podcasts, we're going to go a little bit deeper in what makes really what is medicine. And today I come to the conclusion that in medicine, the true medicine, the peels of medicine is joy, because joy is what connects you with the present moment. And in the present is the miracle, is the unlimitedness. So, what brings you to the present? Sound is one of the very strong way to
Yeah,
bring us in the now.
very beautifully said.
You want to end with making us hear the sound from the drum, the sorry, the Tibetan sound bowl that
I'd
you're
love
doing
it.
in session.
Unfortunately, it's going to be digital, as we said, but it'll still connect you at least on some level. So we're just going to have like a few moments, and hopefully, when we launch our workshop, we will see you live, and then you'll feel the vibrations live. For now, I just want everybody to just close your eyes, take a few moments. Wherever you are, just sit up tall. If you're lying down, you can take a moment to lie down. And just take a couple of breaths, deep inhalations, exhalations, connecting to the sound of your breath. Your breath has a sound, however subtle it is, your breath has a sound. Just two more breaths like that. You don't need to force anything, you just need to allow yourself to connect to your breath, allow yourself to hear the breath. And now we'll just begin. Nothing to do. Slowly let the sounds fade away. Notice how your breath is. Notice how your mind is. Notice how your thoughts are, the quality of your thoughts, the number of your thoughts. And this was just a small glimpse, and it just takes a few moments to anchor yourself to the present moment, to take stock of how you're feeling, to quieten the mind a little bit, and to connect with your breath. Whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes, join us back, feeling maybe a little bit refreshed,
Yeah.
a little bit awakened.
And I must say, it's amazing to attend your session, your Tibetan sound bowl session, which I
Okay.
had. I had the honor, and I must say that you come out of it very different, very not just grounded. You feel in harmony more. I think that's the key word of today.
And then imagine that with the tuning forks, which are actually placed. It's going to be a very potent practice and very potent session.
Yeah. Well, thank you for
Wonderful.
today's podcast. I think we can go on and on forever, you and me, but we're going to keep the rest of our knowledge and discoveries for next time. So the title for the next episode is, I think the human voice, right? And
Yes, power of the human voice.
perfect. So stay tuned, people, and thank you, Rajan, for this
Thank
amazing
you.
discussion. See you very soon.